Returning for a second appearance on Dana White's Contender Series Tuesday, September 13th. 6-1 as a professional fighter. 4 of those wins or finishes. Please welcome Brandon Lewis. Brandon, my man, how are you doing?
Hey, what's going on? I'm doing pretty well. Just about 5 days out from the fight, and I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, man, I was going to say 5 days out. You said you're feeling good. That's great. I find this super interesting. You're the only fighter I've ever interviewed who has like a nice podcast set up. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, I try to put out good quality content and things like that, and just giving the people what they deserve. That's in and out of the cage. So when I'm in the cage, I'm fighting. You get every second you can expect some entertainment. Outside, I try to keep the quality up as well. So,
yes, sir. So your nickname is Let's Go, Brandon. Let's Go, Lewis. The Let's Go Brandon thing maybe has like a different connotation now in 2022. Where did this nickname come from?
So my original nickname was Brandon Superman Lewis, and that came from I was doing these like dive rolls in like a karate class when I was like 12. I was like flying over people, and one of the students was like, "Hey, you look like Superman when you're diving over them," and that just kind of stuck. And I'm not a big fan of like DC too much. I'm more of a Marvel guy anyway, and it was just something I was like, all right, I can't really get rid of my nickname. And then one day I saw like at some NASCAR rally or something, people just were shouting, "Let's go, Brandon." I'm like, wow, I didn't know I had all this unknown support. I'm playing. But I just thought it was a good play on the words. And it's something that people like to hype up and chant in the crowds. So I was like, hey, screw it. Let me just change my nickname to Let's Go, Brandon Lewis. And I was right. People love chanting it in the crowds. People love the nickname so far. So, and it kind of fits my description. I've said it multiple times in the middle of a fight. I kind of get really amped up during fights. Sometimes I'll talk crap to my opponents in there in the cage and like, let's go. I've said that before. So it kind of fits me. And as well, nice little crowd action as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's an easy one to cheer. Let's go, Brandon. And it's also funny because of the whole, NASCAR political side of it too. And it's a great nickname. So I'm all about it. Let's go, Brandon Lewis. So I assume you're still in Florida based on your background, your video background. You haven't gone to Vegas yet?
No, I fly out on Saturday.
Are you going to get there?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to get there in time for the fights? Like
no,
279?
And not only that, I'll be focused on like cutting weight, getting my sweat on, doing my own thing. So, watching fights and all that's nice, but I'd rather be the one in there doing it. So
yeah. So you mentioned you're cutting weight. Another reason I'm very appreciative of you joining me, because I would never want to do an interview cutting weight. So how's that going? You looking on weight? Anything drastically different this weight cut than before?
No, I mean the real cut is gonna come on Sunday. So weigh-ins are on Monday morning.
Right.
I'm gonna do my big cut on Sunday. This time, yeah, I'm approaching a little bit different. I've had some issues with weight cutting in the past. Before, just kind of figuring out my body. I entered this sport really young when I was like 15. So the whole weight cutting process, I was still growing into my body. And then I took a 3.5-year layoff. My body changed then too. So just kind of taking a long time in between fights and then just kind of coming up through the rankings as like a teenager and then a young adult. It just took me a while to figure out. And I started off this whole thing from more of a martial artist side of it. And as I've gone on throughout my career, I've learned how to be more of an athlete and how to do the other parts of it. So this time, yeah, I'm counting my calories. I'm tracking everything I eat. I'm making sure I'm doing it right. So this one, I have full confidence, making weight, things are going to be going smooth. And so far so good. Everything's on point.
Good to hear, man, because Dana White doesn't like his Contender Series fighters missing weight. So glad to hear you're on top of that.
Yeah.
So how was training camp in general? I know you spent time at RMNU BJJ. Did you also spend time at Defworth like you usually do?
Yes, absolutely. Those are the two. Year round, in and out of camp. That's where I train at. Those are the two spots where I go. Defworth, it's our fight team. RMNU is where I do jiu-jitsu at. I train with legendary Hobson Mora. Awesome, great teammates there as well. But yeah, most of my fight-related kind of training is with the team Defworth guys. I do all my striking there, do my wrestling there. and then we'll, do some mixed stuff over there as well. And, I still need to stay on top of being sharp with my jiu-jitsu. So that's what I go to RMNU for.
Smart. And for those who don't know, great gyms down in Tampa, correct?
Yep, absolutely. And I think it's a lot of it needs more exposure, because there's a lot of popularity in South Florida. You got a lot of, you got Sanford, you got ATT, you got a lot of big gyms down in South Florida. And, in Central Florida, it's not as known, especially into the leagues like the UFC. There's not too many guys coming out of, Central Florida as of yet, but there is a lot of talent here. There's a lot of good gyms, and I'm excited to kind of put Tampa and Central Florida on the map.
Yeah, man, because Tom Brady's kind of taking up all the popularity down there right now, especially with football starting this weekend. But for the casuals out there watching, why don't you just name drop some fighters you train with, who are your coaches? I don't care if you think we know them or not. Just tell us who your boys are.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, one of my main training partners, Blake Smith, he's the CFFC lightweight champion. I believe he's going to be one of the next ones in the UFC soon. Train with Alon Cruz, I train with a lot of amateurs as well, actually. So I train with a lot of professionals that have a couple fights. Tyler Keating, Max Quinones, he's really helped me out this camp a lot. He's a flyweight, so he's been really getting my speed up to par, just kind of keeping me sharp. Argenis Castro, yeah, all my teammates, they're a bunch of savages. They come and fight. They don't care how good you are, what rank you are, whatever. If you go into Team Def 4, even one of the new amateurs is going to come and bring it to you. And that's exactly what I need is, sometimes guys will go in and go and train at gyms or spar with people they feel comfortable with. And it's not what it's about. It's about being uncomfortable. So, my teammates, they push me really well. And I can't ask for anything better, because that's exactly what you need coming into a fight like this.
Yes, sir. Gym full of killers. Glad to hear you have that support system back home. So as I mentioned before, you're 6-1 as a pro. This is your second appearance on Contender Series. For those who don't know, Brandon lost a fight last year to Moe Miller, who's a freaking absolute savage in the sport of MMA. Since then, you have a TKO victory over Taylor Moore. It's been a whole season since you were on Contender Series. You got the win since then, had a lot of time to reflect. What have you, for lack of better terms, learned, or what lessons have you learned? What are you going to take with you into this second appearance on Contender Series?
I think just the experience and staying more composed with better decision-making. So I believe I've always had all the tools in the toolbox. I just needed to compose myself and execute on what I already know and what I already trained for. And that's something that kind of comes just with experience. Luckily, when I fought in Contender, I went all 3 rounds. Now, I typically, I like to finish my opponents. But when you go the full 15 minutes, the one thing that you can take away is you have that full 15 minutes of experience now.
Right.
And that was something that's helped me out a lot. My next fight, when I fought Taylor Moore, I felt the most composed and controlled that I've ever have before. And typically, if you would ask me, after a fight, hey, what happened? I couldn't tell you. I'm like, oh, I don't, I have no idea what just happened. I beat the guy, whatever.
Adrenaline,
yeah, the adrenaline just kind of takes over a little bit. My last fight, I recall every moment in that fight. I was able to really break everything down and just stay really composed. And I think that's something that's going to take me a long way, because I know I have the skill sets to be the best in the world. I just need the experience, the composure, and to be able to execute properly. And so just better decision making, obviously honing the skills. I mean, it's been a full year since I was on Contender Series, so that's a full year that I was nonstop training, tuning the skills better, working a lot on my wrestling defense, standing back up to my feet, things like that, staying in the fight the entire time. And I think all that's going to take me a long way for this next one.
If I remember correctly, you can, or if I'm saying this wrong, you can tell me, but I believe Moe Miller came into that fight as a minus 600 favorite or something absurd.
Yeah, I was the biggest underdog on that card, I believe. Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, Dana White didn't give Moe a contract because he was like, you went up against a plus 400 dog. You couldn't finish him. You went the whole fight. So no, I don't think you're ready for the UFC. So I think that says a lot about you, that you were able to go in there against such a stud like Moe, like one of the hottest prospects in MMA, and outlast him the whole fight, show your heart, show your grit, and actually make Dana say, Moe's not the one to impress me. Brandon was. So that's why you're back, man. And I'm super hyped to watch you get in there and do it again, dude. Another opponent, though, who's not very easy, 12-0, Daniel Marcos. What are your thoughts on him? Have you watched any tape at all?
Yeah, initially when I got news, I watched a little bit of tape. Yeah, this guy seems like he's going to come out and try to bang with me. And that's exactly what I want, because my fight with Moe, it was a boring fight. I don't like saying that, but it was a terrible fight. I hated watching it. I hated being part of it.
Sure.
I was bored being in there. But I always try to finish my fights. I try to put on exciting fights. I'm always constant pressure, nonstop action. And I feel like having an opponent that's going to do the same is going to just result in a really great fight. So one, it's going to put on a great show for people that are going to tune in and watch. I'm going to get to showcase my skills a little bit more. And then Dana White's going to see a great fight with a great finish, with me obviously being the one coming out on top. And it's going to secure me that contract. So it takes two to tango in there. I'm glad I have a good opponent. Hey, I've never shied away from a tough fight before. As you've said, I don't care if I'm the underdog, whatever. I'm here to eventually be a world champion. So why not fight really tough guys right now, And I feel like I'm prepared for it. So this guy, he's going to come out. He's going to stand and bang. He's probably hungry. He's coming from Peru. He's got 7 knockouts. Let's bring it. Let's put on a good show, and let's see who comes out on top. And I'm confident that one's going to be me.
That attitude is going to win you fans, and it's going to win you a contract, man. Love it. Something interesting I saw, there's no betting odds out for this fight yet. That usually comes out for Contender Series like Sunday. But I was reading some like analysis on this, and some people are having you come in as like an estimated like plus not 1,200, plus like 120, a plus like 140 underdog. And their reasoning is strength of schedule, strength of opponent. They're like, Daniel Marcos, strength of opponent, strength of schedule is going to be a little too much for Brandon Lewis. That's quotes. I'm not saying this.
Yeah.
I went to look at that. I was like, is that true? Did you know your opponent's combined record is 53-15 in your career?
Oh, nice. There you go.
How the hell is his strength of opponent experience better than that, man? I think that's way off. I think underdog odds on you, cash it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, not financial advice, but I definitely place a bet on me. But yeah, I mean, like I said before earlier, I've never shied away from a tough fight. I mean, for my 3rd professional fight, I've fought guys from like top gyms. I fought guys from American Top Team, fought guys from really esteemed coaches and camps, pretty much right off the bat for my career. And Marcos, I mean, I don't know how the talent pool is looking like in Peru, but I know over here in America, we got some killers, and I've never shied away from any of them. So I think I'm going to be his toughest opponent to date. I think I'm going to be the most credible. Yeah, maybe some of the guys he's fought have better records than me, and have more fights and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think the talent pool down there is as high as the pool that I've faced. So that's just my personal opinion. I think I'm going to come way more prepared than anyone he's ever looked at. And we'll see how it works out for him.
I completely agree, man. I think whatever clown wrote that article is some good. So we, just real quick, talking about sports betting at all. Do you gamble at all? Do you bet on sports ever?
No.
Okay. So forget about that. But for those who do, if you have any advice for people who want to throw money on you, anything like that, what do you say to those people?
I mean, not a financial advice, but bet the house. I'm probably going to come in as an underdog, like you were saying. You said there was some odds that has me already as an underdog. So
a little bit, yeah.
Well, you get to make some profits there. That's all I got to say. I'm betting on myself. I've been betting on myself for 15 years, coming into the sport. That's all I could say. As far as financial, what you throw in, what you throw out, I can't tell you what, but I put full belief and effort and everything into myself. So I'm giving this fight everything I have. This is the second time I've had this opportunity, and I'm not letting it slip this time.
Love it, man. Great attitude. Any 279 UFC 279 predictions?
I just hate seeing Diaz and Ferguson in there, to be honest, with these guys. They're going against some absolute killers. the reason why I said I hate seeing them is because these are guys that I kind of watched as I was coming up and all this kind of stuff. And when you see someone that you're a fan of fighting for such a long time and you kind of see their decline a little bit, it's just hard to watch. Not saying they can't pull off these wins, but you just kind of want to, you have some sort of protective instinct over them. You're like, oh no. Like when I saw Tony get knocked out by Michael Chandler with that front kick, like I just felt like my heart sank. I'm like, no, like, but they're their own men. They make the decision to go in there, put their lives at risk, and you got to respect their decisions. So that being said, I do have Chimaev probably finishing Diaz. Ferguson, I believe he's got more of a shot to winning his fight. I mean, if you look at his previous fights, he got finished by top guys. Yeah. And I'm not saying his opponent's not a really tough guy or anything like that, but he did get ragdolled by Chimaev. I think Ferguson has a shot. As far as the rest of the card, I'm not too familiar. I haven't been keeping up with too much. I've been focusing a little bit more on myself these past couple of weeks. So, but yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be some good fights. But for the Chimaev fight, I'd say he gets the finish within a round or two.
Yeah, I agree. Sad to see, but yeah, man, that's MMA and Father Time. MMA doesn't treat it kindly, huh?
No, absolutely not. You got a short period of time to be a fighter, and after that, go off and live your life, man. Enjoy.
So, have you watched any Contender series this season? And what are your thoughts if you have?
Yeah, I've seen a couple. I was out there doing media in Vegas. Was it last week? Yeah, last week for Contender. So I was on the treadmill, kind of putting up there. Cool. Honestly, I'm not too impressed. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, I think I'm prepared for the next level, which is the UFC. And that's not to knock any of the Contender guys that I've seen, but I've seen a lot of these guys, and I'm just like, I know I'm better than these guys. I know I'm way better than these guys. And that's, again, like I said, nothing against them. They probably perform their hearts out. Again, that's probably the biggest stage that they've been on. So I feel comfortable walking into Apex. I've been there before. I'm calm, cool, collected now. Again, I can't take away anything from their performances. There's been some really great fights on there, but I feel like I'm ready for that next level, 100%.
Love it, man. Love it. You get to that next level. You get the big W on Tuesday. You're sitting in the back. You're talking to Larasenko, waiting for Dana White. What do you have to tell the boss, man? What do you tell Dana?
Hey, if you want more finishes like that, put me on your next UFC card because I'm ready. That's it. I want to fight back to back. As long as I'm healthy, as long as I come out unscathed or whatever the case may be, short downtime, get me on the next UFC card. Get me on the next thing. I'm down to put on a great finish on Contender, get a nice sweet knockout, and then do it again on the next card. I think UFC might be coming to Orlando. So I'm in Florida. Boom. It's like an hour and a half away. Put me on that card.
Hometown stud. Do you have a potential UFC opponent in mind? Anybody you'd like to fight for the first time?
No, I haven't really looked into anybody in lower. I mean, they might put me against another Contender guy, maybe someone that was on the Ultimate Fighter. I don't know how the matchmaking works per se. I don't have anyone in particular in mind. I've just been, like I said, focusing on myself, building myself up, and whoever they put in front of me, then they're going to get it.
Do you have a dream venue you'd like to fight in somewhere in the world, anywhere?
No, I mean, Fight Island would be nice. Yeah. I think fighting in Abu Dhabi would be real nice. As far as I don't think I've thought too much into a certain particular venue. But fighting on Fight Island, I'm not looking forward to the flight, but fighting there would be great.
That would be sweet, man. It'd be a good time. What about dream venue? Maybe Fight Island. What about a dream fight? Any fight, any fighter, current, retired, freaking fictional. Who would you like to scrap up against for a little for fun exhibition match?
It would have to be, and I know it sounds ridiculous because obviously right now I'd get my ass handed to me, but it'd have to be Demetrius Johnson because he's one of the GOATs and he's one of the best to ever do it. And the experience that I would get from fighting someone like that would just be amazing. Demetrius Johnson, he's one of my favorite fighters. He's someone that, as I've been coming up, I've always tried to model. I've idolized him, and he's just so great at his craft. So a fight against Demetrius Johnson. I know he's fought at flyweight. He's fought at bantamweight before. I think in some recent interviews he said he sizes up kind of towards bantamweight. as of right now. I think in ONE FC, he weighs in at 135 now. So
yeah, he's big.
Yeah. So yeah, Demetrius Johnson.
I love the Mighty Mouse fight, man. He got that big dub 2 weeks ago, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Just a slip, right hand. As he was stumbling back, he just throws a flying knee, catches him. It was beautiful. And he's a real martial artist. He mixes it up better than anyone that I've ever seen. So, as early on, I looked up to George St. Pierre, and I think Demetrius Johnson is just kind of like a modern day George St. Pierre, more evolved version.
Totally. Good comparison. And I love both those guys. They're both the GOATs in their division, in my opinion. So dream fight, dream venue. What about dream career? You get the dub on Tuesday, you fight your UFC career out. We skip ahead 20, 30 years. You're an old man sitting down, telling your grandkids about your stories. What did your career look like? How did it all go down?
I want to face some adversity. I don't want a smooth, easy career. Oh, I finish everybody like that and nothing, nothing. I want to go through adversity. One of the things that I really idolized George St. Pierre for was that he lost that one fight, and then he came back and just absolutely just destroyed Matt Serra. Yeah. So I want to be known for somebody that can tackle adversity, that could overcome certain situations, that could be put in a tough spot. I could be down around 2 rounds, maybe 3, in a championship fight. I could make a comeback. It's just someone like that, someone that always pushes through and never stops shooting towards their goals. And, it's going to take me a while. It may take me 5 years or 10 years, but one day I will be champion. And I'm sure I'm going to face some hurdles on the way there, but I'm all for it. I'm ready. And that's what I want to be known as.
Tuesday's the start, my man. I'm super stoked to see it all go down. Let's stop talking about fighting for a second here, or your fight rather. Fighting as a career, I don't need to tell you this. I just need to tell the people watching this who don't fight. Very challenging career, very demanding physically, mentally. You guys have the highest of highs, you have the lowest of lows. When you're down, whether it's after a rough training session, whether it's after a loss, whether it's just late night doubts in bed at night, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired? What keeps you going?
So this dream that I've had of becoming a world champion is something that I've had ever since I was like 6 years old. I grew up watching like Rocky, Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, like things like that. And just inspirational stories from films kind of really drove me as a kid to want to go into martial arts. And then again, watching people like George St. Pierre, watching champions was something that I've just always, drew inspiration from. And how do you say? Could you rephrase that question real quick? Sorry.
Just when you're down, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you?
Yeah, I think just my goal. I've had this for such a long time. I know the end goal. I'm going to be able to, with becoming a world champion, I'm going to be able to take care of my mom. I'm going to be able to take care of my teammates, all the people that have supported me, and that sacrifice of a hard session or any bumps on the road that I may face is going to be worth it when I put in the work and I get to buy my mom a house. I get to take care of my teammates. I get to show martial arts to a younger generation. And that's something that really inspires me and lifts me up because, feeling down is temporary. But if you push through and you keep working hard, the fruits of your labor are going to come. And that's something it's what you put in is what you get out. And that's just something that I know for a fact. So it doesn't matter what I'm feeling temporarily. Let me just keep pushing through, keep striving, and I'll be able to take care of the people that I want to take care of.
Great perspective. So, aside from Brandon the fighter, why don't you just tell me a little bit about you as a person? Like, do you have any hobbies, interests? What do you do when you're not fighting or training?
Well, as of late, resting because I'm putting so much effort into training and all that. I'm dead. No, I like to chill. Sometimes I PC game, so I'll play like some Dota, something like that. Watch some Marvel movies, some shows, all that kind of stuff. Hanging out at theme parks, the beach, things like that. Me and my girl, we love going to Disney. Things like that. So I would say like just hiking. Going out and about, and then when I'm home and feeling a little bit lazy, I'll play some video games.
That's sweet, man. So you mentioned Marvel. Are you into superheroes in general at all? Have you watched The Boys by chance?
Oh, The Boys was great. The Boys is probably more. Yeah, The Boys So typically, no, I don't spread myself too far out. But the boys, excellent show, especially last season. It's the best show put out so far as of right now.
Yeah, totally agree. And I only ask because I'm like I'm watching for a second time right now with my fiance, and so good, dude, so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing you're involved with, I saw that you actually told me about, is you're involved with Marshall Inu. Is that correct?
Yep.
So I just want you to kind of explain that to people who are watching this who don't know what that is. Kind of explain it to me because I half know what that is. Like fighters like Volkanovski, Ricky Simone, Bryce Mitchell. You got a lot of people following that page. So what's going on over there?
Yeah, they're a crypto project that dedicates part of its tax and basically it has a separate wallet for a fighter fund. So their whole goal is to basically give fighters what they're worth, their pay. And so that's what we've seen. Like we'll do things with the community. We try to incorporate MMA fans interacting with their favorite fighters. So we just did like a meme contest with Paulo Costa, a lot of secret juice memes. It was pretty funny, but it's a cool way to kind of get Paulo Costa paid, have his fans interact with them, and something engaging for the community. So yeah, I mean, the power of crypto is definitely the future, in my opinion. Obviously, I can't go and pay my rent with crypto right now, but who knows what's possible in the next 5 or 10 years. So yeah, they're all about educating fighters on crypto and getting them paid what they're worth. And that's in a part, I work with them. I was a sponsored athlete pretty early on in the project. And then I later on got within some of the team, and I'm now helping out with some of the socials and fighter relations and some of the content that they produce. So it's something that I enjoy. I love, hosting interviews. It's giving me opportunities. Like I said, like you said, I've done an interview with Alexander Volkanovski. I got to interview Aljamain Sterling. Things like that. And that opportunity and that experience is something that I'm always grateful for. And then I get to work on something that I love helping out with. I'm helping other fighters get to where they want to be, have more resources, and that's what it's all about. I know we're all fighting each other and stuff, but we kind of have to group up together and help each other out at the same time too. And at the end of the day, I'm a big just martial arts enthusiast. I recommend everybody at least train once, at least, maybe go and spar once, whatever, try it out. And if I could grow the sport of MMA in any way, shape, or form, yeah, I may not be making big waves yet, but if I could start with the lower levels right now and make bigger waves as I, become a champion, have more of a voice, then there we go. That's the way I want to do it.
Yeah, that's great, man. And especially like with how relevant not only crypto and MMA is right now, but also like fighter pay is just a constant hot topic and discussion in media. So it's great to hear you're like giving back to fighters like that. And it sounds like you're going to have a hell of a support cast too with UFC fighters rooting you on Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's great. And, the whole fighter pay thing, people, how do you say, I see both sides of it. I understand. Sure. Yeah, sure. I do see fighters. I think we should get more, but not for nothing.
Right.
We can't just be complaining and saying, oh yeah, I deserve to get paid more, but it's like, for what? So I think fighters should also make an initiative on doing things interactive with their fans, doing things outside of fighting that's going to bring more attention. You got to think, at the end of the day, this is an entertainment business. And if you fight once every, couple months or whatever, you're only entertaining people for 15 minutes at a time, maximum, per every couple months. So put yourself out there, promote yourself as a fighter. That's what I'm trying to do more. You see, I got this whole set, stuff like that. And, I'm trying to promote myself. I'm, trying to do interviews. I'm trying to do some podcasts. I'm trying to do this and that. I'm just trying to provide some value where I can. And I think more fighters should step up and do that and look back and be like, okay, maybe I should start doing some more stuff outside of just fighting. It's hard though. I understand, because after you're done with a long training session, you're not going to want to go out and do some more work. You want to rest, recover, and all that kind of stuff. But you got to find out what works for you at the end of the day. So.
Well, that's a superstar's mentality right there, my man. You got to keep that perspective going, because that's what sells. Before we get out of here real quick, Brandon, I just want to give you the opportunity. Do you have anything to say to your supporters, your family, your friends, all these new eyes that are going to be on you? The mic is yours.
Absolutely. First of all, as much of a individual sport this thing is. I step in the cage alone. It's really much a team effort. I have a team of coaches, team training partners, team members, and I have fans and supporters, people that want to see me make it to the top. And it takes a village. And everything that I do, when I have that kind of support, I bring those people with me in the back of my mind when I go in and fight. And it wouldn't be possible without these people supporting me. So while I may step in there alone, I got a whole team of people behind me in the back of my head, and it means the world to me. So yeah, I just want to thank every one of my coaches, everyone that's been part of my journey so far, because it wouldn't be possible without them.
Yes, sir. I mean, you got like we've been talking about this entire half hour, you got a great support team back home at your gyms, and it sounds like your family, and glad to hear it, man. And I'm certain it's going to rub off in the cage on Tuesday. Folks, if you don't know the guy, now you do. Brandon, let's go, Lewis. Let's go, Brandon Lewis, as one would say. Fighting Tuesday, September 13th on Dana White's Contender Series, ESPN Plus. Don't miss it. The fists are going to be flying. Brandon, my man, thank you so much.
Hey, much appreciated. Thank you so much for having me on. And
when you get that big dub and you get that UFC debut booked, we'll do it again, all right?
Absolutely. Sounds good, man.
Yes, sir.